Well, welcome everybody to episode 4 of what we're calling our Monsters Distancing Dialogues. As you can see, our guest today is the one and only Justin Scott. And of course, Distancing Dialogues is presented by Musselman's Applesauce. Be sure to pick up Musselman's Applesauce at your local grocery store. Visit musselmans.com for delicious and nutritious applesauce and apple butter recipes. Scotty, good to see you, man. Thanks for taking a few minutes today, and just fill us in for our viewers here where you are and how it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tony. I'm back home right now, Burlington, Ontario. It's about 40 minutes away from Toronto for people who aren't familiar with the area. But yeah, just trying to stay busy and trying to get through this.
Yeah, absolutely. We zip through Burlington every time we go to play the Marlies there. So right away, in between Cleveland and Toronto. Speaking of the quarantine, just what's your situation? Like, who are you, currently quarantined with? What do you guys do to stay busy? What's the deal?
Yeah, I'm back home right now at my parents' place right now. So it's just me and them, and but I mean, right now it's kind of I guess we're in a good situation as where we are right now. I know a lot of people kind of have some difficult circumstances, but I'm able to get outside, and I'm also able to work out and do things like that. So yeah, I guess I'm lucky.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a thing we talk about with all you guys. Trying to somehow through all these different things going on, stay focused on hockey, stay in shape, stay ready in case anything were to happen with the AHL or the NHL play. How's that process going, and are you spending much of your day on a daily basis thinking about hockey right now?
Yeah, I think I am. I think generally, you kind of have to. But right now, it's just such a unique thing right now that people don't really know what's going to happen with the season and with how to kind of prepare. But yeah, I probably took a week to kind of really just not do anything because kind of get settled in back home. But just the way I am, I kind of got to get moving and do things. And I'm trying to just kind of stay active more so. And also kind of like look at things that, I'd like to improve on and kind of, do that. So I think there's a middle point of like, if you're preparing for next year or kind of this year too. So I think trying to find a common ground for that.
Yeah, the thing that sticks out to me is like for all of us that work in the industry, but especially for you players, everything during the season is all about routine and it's very structured and you're around the guy all the time. And so when you go into a situation like this, it's unexpected. It's not like the off season when the season's going to end and then you can look forward to what's happening next. But in this situation, it's kind of like disorienting, isn't it? Was there a period of time where you were sitting around going, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. I found quite early that, if I don't have a routine, like for the next day, like if I don't know what I'm going to do the next day, then it's really hard. It's kind of hard to, you can't really wake up and just kind of, oh, what am I going to do? For me, I mean, everyone's different, but for me, I need to kind of know what I'm doing. And I find that really helpful.
Yeah, so part of that is staying in shape, and we shot that thing for the telethon several weeks back. We saw your back set up there. Looks like you got a good place to get some shots in. But aside from the hockey stuff and the working out, like what's a normal day look like around your guys' place? Are you doing cooking, like watching TV? What's the deal?
For sure, I think every day, kind of throughout the week, is different. But I mean, twice a week I'm doing like just Zoom workouts with my trainer. Lucky to have that. I mean, he lent me a bunch of equipment. So I'm kind of doing that for 2 days of the week, just in the morning. And then I kind of like to mix it up. I recently purchased a mountain bike. So that's kind of like my hobby right now is mountain biking. And it's a really good workout, and it's pretty enjoyable too. So been doing that, and also like you said, spending time with family. My girlfriend lives close by, so that's really nice. But yeah, I think every night it's the same routine. 5:45, we eat dinner. We try and mix it up. who's cooking. So, but yeah, just trying to get some new recipes and stuff like that too while you can.
Awesome. We'll have to get you hooked up with Jock Calendar. He's got all the healthy recipes. He lays them on us every day in our staff meetings and stuff.
Oh, I know. He's told me about those too.
Speaking of Jocko, he actually wanted me to ask you a specific question here. If you've been around Cleveland a while, so the fans know you and they know your nickname.
Yep.
Right? Jocko wanted you to explain your nickname. Tell us what it is, who gave it to you, the backstory, all that stuff. He wanted to make sure that question.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely. So my nickname is the Goat or Goater. It's more so kind of like the animal, I would say. Like me and my buddies back home, we all a couple summers ago we'd call each other like a goat, like just kind of messing around. And then right when I kind of came to Cleveland, it was Nick Mutry. He had one of my friends back home. They were teammates in junior hockey. So he kind of just told Moots to call me a goat on the bus. And I remember hearing he's like, hey, goat. So then I kind of turned around slowly thinking like, he's not talking to me. And sure enough, he was. And then, the boys that year, that was the Calder Cup run. They loved it. And it kind of stuck from there.
Yeah, I mean, if something pops up during a season like that, you better stick with it, right?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's a good question here. Now, you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
In your career, you've been able to stick, at least in your professional career, with one team and one organization. So that's a whole side of the business you haven't had to really deal with that much, being moved around. You mentioned a guy, Nick Mutry. He's in some different places, ECHL, AHL. When you think about your time in Cleveland here, spanning now 4 seasons and all the different guys you've played with, how big of an advantage is it for you personally, or maybe just how nice is it that you haven't had to worry about that side of the business and you've been able to focus on one place and keep at least one thing consistent?
For sure. Yeah. That's, that's something I don't take, I definitely realize like I'm grateful to kind of stick in the same spot. Even junior hockey, I was, Barrie Colts all 4 seasons. But no, I completely realized like what Cleveland is and how much of a hockey market it really is. Like there's, to be in the American Hockey League, you can get 9,000 plus fans consistently, and kind of the arena, the whole setup, just everything we have is really top notch. And yeah, I mean, seeing like the past 4 seasons and plus being around for that Calder Cup run, just seeing some of the guys come in through, through the team, it's pretty cool. A lot of really good players and, a lot of good people that, you still keep in touch with to this day.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking here with Justin Scott. It's our Distancing Dialogues presented by Musselman's Applesauce. Also wanted to remind you guys about another one of our great partners, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. They provide flexible group insurance plans for every size business. You can choose from a variety of group medical, pharmacy, dental, vision, life, and disability plans. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, a big opportunity for small employers. Scotty, I want to stick with Cleveland a little bit here. We talk all the time about how lucky we all are to work in the field house, to have the resources we have and the setting and the fans and all that. But beyond that, the city of Cleveland happens to be an amazing place to live just in general. So I know you're not in town right now, but you've spent a lot of time here. What are some of the things you miss, not so much about the hockey side of the city, but just the city in general?
For sure. Yeah, no, living downtown Cleveland. I lived downtown for 3 out of the 4 seasons. So I just think like overall, just the way of life when you live downtown, like you can just walk everywhere. It's really nice. Like the river's right there. The flats is right there. Kind of just like the day-to-day stuff, you definitely don't take advantage of.
Yeah, it's a great place. I mean, I've worked and lived in several different cities and wouldn't trade any one of those stops, but it's not a place like Cleveland, definitely, no doubt about it. All right, here's another one from our staff. So I was talking to some folks. We knew we would be interviewing you and was asking, does anyone have anything they want to know from Justin Scott? So here's one from a staff member. Earlier this year, we had WWE night, right? And that was was a really fun night with the different headshots they had, for the game night presentation. But you got taken to a different level. You were one of a handful of guys that had your own wrestling character sort of made. I think it was called Too Hot Scott.
Yeah.
I guess they want to know, how did you, was that a surprise, and what did you think of everyone's handiwork on that one?
I mean, yeah, it was. I don't know who designed the Too Hot Scott, but that was pretty interesting. Definitely took a bit of heat from from some people, but it's hilarious. I loved it. I mean, it's fun. That was a really cool thing that we did, and I still I got a pair of socks, so still wear them on time.
Oh yeah, that's right, the sock.
Yeah,
Well, you need a pair of socks, because that leads into another question. One of our staff wanted you to tell the story of how you lost your socks after a season ticket holder event earlier this season.
yeah, that was, can't say that happens every day or if that'll ever happen again. We were just doing like a post game, kind of like talk. I think, yeah, you were kind of running it, and it was me, Vogues, and Sammy. And you pointed out the socks that I had on. And it was like the blue Johnny Bauer socks. And one of the fans asked me a question, or I think they asked the question about the socks. And then after, when I was leaving, they asked if she could keep my socks, if she could take my socks. I guess she was getting married and she wanted it for her wedding or something. So
it's the something blue or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I saw how much it meant to her, so I gave her my socks.
That was an all-timer for sure, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll
what is happening
that'll
here
ever happen again.
Yeah. Oh, one and done. That's a good one, though. All right,
yeah.
Let's keep it rolling here with a little bit more about hockey, right? Not just the specifics of the game and like what you're thinking about in terms of getting back this season, but how big of a void is it for you right now just to not have the ability to be on the ice? I mean, for all of you guys, it's like an everyday thing, and it's been that for years and years of your lives. This is probably the longest, I would imagine, that you've gone not stepping onto the ice in decade, more than that maybe.
For sure.
How are you dealing with just not having that outlet that you're so used to having?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a unique time right now, but I think a lot of players are kind of switching to the rollerblades and trying to kind of get that side of thing. I mean, it's pretty close. I love it. That's what I've been trying to do to stay active and keep my like hands intact. So, but I think that's difficult. I think right now everyone's like, all right, it's okay right now, but once there is kind of like you can see when the season's going to start back up again, I think that's when it's going to be panic mode. Everyone's going to want to hit the ice. Everyone's going to want to kind of get that going. But I think everyone has to kind of make it work for them and just kind of see what they have around them. I know, like I just said, I'm lucky in the situation that I have around me. There's a small rink in where I'm from that I just have been lucky enough to skate twice just on my own. But yeah, everyone's kind of got their own situation.
Yeah, the good news is, though, like everybody's in the same situation. So like everyone's in the same boat. It's not like some guys have access, to being on the ice or being with their teammates. So whenever sort of we emerge from this, it'll be interesting, and I'm sure there'll be adjustments and all of that. But
absolutely,
everybody's facing the same thing.
Absolutely.
All right, I wanted to ask you too. I've got a couple of notes here on some more staff questions. You mentioned trying to keep up with some different recipes. Like for you, what's your go-to type thing? What are some of your dishes that you always, when it's your night to cook, you're always leaning on?
It's funny. Yeah, no, it's pretty, like my just standard is like steak, potatoes, like, a veggie, a salad, or I'll do chicken with kind of the same thing, but been trying to do like a shepherd's pie. Yeah, just kind of trying to mix it up because I think, every kind of couple months I try and come up with something new because it's just, you get tired of cooking the same thing and a lot of the time it's because, you know, you don't have the time to really, you know, get all the ingredients and stuff like that. But right now it's you know, it's a good time to like do things that, you know, for yourself and really kind of, I guess, focus on yourself a bit, you know, like
Yeah.
whether it's reading or whether it's doing anything like that. So
You doing a lot of reading there, Scotty? What are you reading right now, man?
I've been reading the Tiger Woods book.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's a cool book. Yeah. I need something that I can just kind of read through. So, yeah, I find that really interesting. So,
Cool.
on page 100 of that.
All right. What about contact with your teammates? I mean, like we said earlier, you guys are used to being around each other, like essentially 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So what's it been like trying to stay in touch with everybody? And are you doing much of that, or is everyone kind of doing their own thing right now?
I think, you know, being like with a team the whole year, it's, you know, you have that tight knit group. So, I mean, you can always reach out to guys. I know a lot of guys, you know, we have a team group chat. And we also have like little side with social media right now. It's pretty easy. You know, a lot of guys are staying in touch and, but yeah, I mean, I've been talking to quite a few guys, throughout this time and just kind of seeing what they're doing. And I think it's a good time because, you know, you don't really know what, not necessarily teammates, but you don't really know what, a lot of people are going through, you know, so it's nice kind of to reach out and, you know, you try and talk to like at least one person a day and have a conversation to see how it's going, whether that's, you know, someone I went to high school with or even a teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Justin Scott. It's our fourth episode of what we're calling Distancing Dialogues, presented by Musselman's Applesauce. And Scotty, just a few minutes left, so I got some quick hitter questions for you on the way out here.
Perfect.
And these come from the staff members, but they want to know, streaming-wise, or like TV, movies, like what are you watching these days?
Money Heist right now, and the Michael Jordan documentary.
Unreal, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All
It's
those
so
stories.
cool to see like how just kind of like how much footage they got and like how much of a crazy athlete he is.
Yeah, I read, you know, that was originally supposed to be a much shorter thing, and then they're putting it together and they figure out, oh my gosh, we have footage of like everything we're talking about here. So
Yeah, that's crazy. 10 episodes or something like that.
do you think you could carry a 10-episode documentary, the Justin Scott story, during your time in Cleveland? Would we have the footage, Scott?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe.
I'm sure Nick Nutri would volunteer for
Oh yeah.
interviews for that one. And then finally, we've asked everybody this so far. So if you had to be quarantined with one of your teammates, who would you want to be quarantined with? Who would be good? And then who would be an absolute disaster? No way you'd sign up for that.
Right. Who I would want to be quarantined with? Probably my roommate, Sam Vigneault. You know, we had a good thing going this year, so I'd you know, I'd stick with Sammy. Who wouldn't I want to be quarantined with? That's tough. Geez, one of the boys are gonna get upset here. I'll just go Bitsy. I'd love Bitsy for the first week, and then we probably butt heads a bit. But I love Bitsy, so
Yeah, we
it's all
talked
good.
a few weeks ago. I forget what answer he gave me. He might not have answered that question. I think he might have
Oh, great.
it out. But
Yeah.
anyway, Scotty, it's been really good catching up with you, buddy. Good to see you. Glad you're doing well, and hopefully we'll be back to normal before too terribly long. But in the meantime, just best of luck to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks again for doing this.
Yeah. Anytime, Tony. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate it.
All right, and before we go, if you have any message, not just to the fans here in Cleveland, but all those frontline workers, the essential workers, healthcare folks, everyone, grocery stores, takeout, you know, doing all the things to keep us going here.
For sure. Yeah.
From you.
Yeah. To all the essential workers, you know, we can't stress enough how much we appreciate it. You know, everything they're doing is keeping us safe, and yeah, I mean, you know, you can't, you know, everything they do is for us. So if we can just do our part and, you know, social distance and do that, I don't think it's too difficult. So thank you to all the essential workers.
Well said. That's Justin Scott. This has been Distancing Dialogues for the Monsters, episode number 4, presented by Muscleman's Applesauce. Scotty, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Tony. Thanks. Bye.